and welcome back to another episode of Behind the Whistle. Today, we are refereeing Tewkesbury Town Saturday Development versus Welland Reserves. As you can see, these two teams are quite close in the league. However, today is a cup match. So we're refereeing the Cheltenham League Charity Cup quarter-final. If both teams are level by the end, we will be going straight to penalties. I've never had a penalty shootout before. Will this be my first one? Who knows? If you're a grassroots referee and it's your first time doing a cup game, or you're doing a cup game and you've never had a penalty shootout before, there are a couple things to think about that I've been told. One, at grassroots, at the lowest level, where I live, the subs are roll on and roll off. So you can have up to 5 people on the subs bench, but they can come on and off the pitch as much as you like to encourage, obviously, playing time. This means that at the end of full time, a team might try and swap a player in for the penalty shootout. But the rule is once that final whistle blows, no substitutions are allowed to be made for the penalties. Teams are not always going to be super clear on this. It's not a common thing. So what I might do is, if the game is drawing and we've got 5 minutes left, I might just alert the teams and say, look, if you're thinking about making any substitutions for the penalty shootout, make sure to do it now, because players are going to need to stay on the pitch until the penalty shootout's over. And that way you can manage who was on the pitch and who wasn't. We'll instruct teams not to leave the pitch. And yeah, I think I might go about it that way. But if you've managed a penalty shootout before, please drop some advice in the comments. This is my first time, so I've never done it before. I might not have one, obviously we'll see. But if I do, it will be my first time. So any advice is welcome for future games. So, not bad. I didn't particularly enjoy the game, but I felt like I refed it relatively well. Welland came out the 2-1 winners, so no penalty shootout this week. We gave a good advantage for Welland's first goal, so happy with that, but the game was just very bitty. They thought every piece of contact was a foul, which makes it really difficult to referee, but yeah, 2-1 in the end, nothing major. I believe we had 2 yellow cards and a couple of offsides that we can look at. So yeah, I will see you guys when I come back and review the footage. So for those of you that have watched the Cheltenham Saracens vlog, and for those of you that haven't, I'll link it just here for you. You'll know that there can be some offside drama when it comes to grassroots football. So we're going to run through a couple of situations where that's happened. At the end of the game, I didn't feel like I'd actually ref the game that well, but after reviewing the footage, I'm actually quite happy. Which is a nice feeling to have for a change. I felt like we dealt with it well. We gave a good advantage for Welland's first goal, and we had a couple of tight offside calls again. During the game, at the start, there wasn't really much going on. A couple of calls for fouls, but really nothing in it. And then we have this offside situation to start. So as the ball gets played in, you can see that the assistant doesn't actually immediately raise his flag above his head. And it's quite common with club assistants. They may not be 100% certain on the signal. So he puts his arm out straight in front of him to give offside, but we don't actually see it that clearly. So that's why we've had to call it late, which is unfortunate. But as you can see from the still image, he is absolutely offside. And this unfortunately starts a bit of a wave of disagreements, let's say, around offside decisions. Here's the second offside. So as you can see, the number 9 backs into his own half and then makes the run. At first glance, it's definitely close. From the point that the Welland player kicks the ball, that 9 is in fact in the opposite half and offside. Everyone was complaining, saying that he was in his own half. Obviously, he's not. You'll see me constantly glancing across to the 9, and we can recognise that he's in the other half. So when that linesman raised his flag, I knew 100% he was correct and he was offside. And then unfortunately this happens. So out of frustration, the number 9 kicks the ball away, delaying the restart. So then we have to issue him our first yellow card of the game. He then calls me something under his breath. It wasn't public. Nobody else heard it, but I did. So we told him to calm down, and if I hear anything like that out of his mouth again, he'll be sent off. Typically, there's a controversial decision, and of course, a goal comes from it. So let's take a look at how the free kick pans out. And that is half time. So nothing really happened in the first half. There are a couple of tiny little fouls that weren't worth including, a couple of foul shouts for nothing, and then these 2 offside decisions and the yellow card. The second half, a bit more comes into it, so we'll take a look. But yeah, a relatively quiet first half for us. So we're less than 2 minutes into the second half, and we get another offside call with the same player. Let's have a look. So the ball is bouncing around in midfield and the ball gets played over the top. Again, it looks very, very close, but let's take a look at the freeze frame. Yeah, for me, he's offside again, as we can see. There is number 3, the fullback, that's off picture, but it looks to me like he's in line with his back 4. So again, number 9 is offside, and that is 3 correct offside decisions in a row. As this happens, we get a comment from the Welland centre half. So we walk over to speak to him. I basically explain to him that there's no reason for me to believe that he's cheating and that they were very close. He then tells me I should have seen the one in the first half that I was 5 yards away from, and I explained to him that he was not in his own half and it was offside. And yeah, we leave it at that. So now we have the 4th offside, including the same player again. Let's see how this one panned out. So there's a bit of a battle for it. There's a little knock over the top. And as you can see, he is, just edged offside again. I know it's going to be hard to look from this camera, but he's definitely offside here. You can tell by the way he's leaning. So as you can see, the Welland manager is not happy. In the clip before, you would have heard him audibly shout. But at the time, it was the first time I'd heard something, so I wasn't actually sure who had said it. At this point, I know it's him, and we don't condone language like that on the football pitch. So I go over and have a word with him. I give him a couple seconds to let out what he wants to let out, but then he carries on and he's telling me that the club linesman is an absolute disgrace and that he's cheating. We explain to him that we've got absolutely no reason to believe that he's cheating and that if I hear any more language like that, he will be sent off. Lo and behold, he is quiet after this. And that's a tip for you refs out there. If people are using bad language and causing an issue on the sideline, usually the threat of a card is good enough to tone them down. So definitely think about using that. You don't have to show the card, right? We don't want to just be dishing out cards for the sake of it. So the threat of a card can be good enough. And hopefully, when they watch this back, they'll see that he was offside in all of the occasions and that they might give club assistants a bit more respect going forward. So 4 offsides, 4 that are absolutely bang on, and we've managed to settle the manager down. Less than a minute later, Welland go on the attack and I play an advantage that leads to a goal. So great feeling. Let's have a look. So the ball turns over. The 9 is getting pulled, gets tripped. We give a big audible advantage shout. He keeps running into the box and slots it in the near post. Really, really happy with this. Like, an advantage that leads to a goal is a great feeling. Obviously, they were all shouting for a foul and I could have stopped play, but I recognised that there was space for him to run into. He'd been running at players all game and was getting good success out of it. So when I saw that he was in this situation, I thought, well, we'll give him another chance to keep going. So Tewkesbury have a free kick and then we have a handball shout in the penalty box. So the ball gets played in, you pass it to his mate, who shoots, it bounces and hits the defender's arm. For me, his arm's in a natural position. Maybe his right arm, no, the one that's out here like this. Obviously, there's no reason for his arm to be there. But his other arm down below him is absolutely normal for balance. It also does ricochet off his own foot, which does come into consideration. And the fact that he's about half a yard away, for me, is is good enough to know that this is not handball for me, not at this level. So then Welland gain possession in the middle of the park, and they make it 2-1. The main thing that stuck out to me here is my position is poor, and again, it's a bad habit I'm in of stopping when I can see that something's about to happen. So, as the ball gets played over the top, I kind of slow down, and especially if there's going to be a 50-50 right by the goal line, I'm still outside the 18-yard box. On video, you're not going to be able to see the lines, and if I'm honest with you, I actually couldn't really see the lines on the pitch either. And this did play into my mind a bit because I couldn't really feel where I was at in the pitch. But absolutely here I should be sprinting in a lot closer because there was a big opportunity for something to happen there. Thankfully it didn't, it was just a goal. But if it had have, I would not have been in the right position to see it. Now we have a corner for Tewkesbury and we have an offside situation. Let's watch it through. So the ball gets headed out and the Tewkesbury 13 gives it a little dink over the top. As I glance across, it's evident to me that at least 2, maybe 3 players are playing this Tewkesbury player onside. You'll see the lad puts his flag up, the club assistant. I know for a fact that it's not offside, so we play on. You'll see that they're obviously complaining and they say that the line is flags up. I then say to this player here in the middle that there's absolutely no way that he could be offside. There'll be a few people that think that I should just blow the whistle and save myself the hassle, but I was 100% certain that he was not offside, and so I'm not giving it. It's as simple as that. If I know he's not offside, I'm not giving the offside regardless of whether the linesman puts his flag up or not. Out of pure integrity, I'm not giving it. So I explained that he absolutely cannot be offside, and so he then goes, "Oh, well done, ref," with a sarcastic clap. I then say, "Mate, be careful." And then he says something else, which I won't repeat. So then it was very easy for me to issue my second yellow card as a sin bin. In England, a sin bin is used when a player commits an act of dissent towards the referee. And this can be done in many different ways. When you show a yellow card for dissent, the player has to go off the pitch for 10 minutes of playing time, and then they can come back on after that 10 minutes is completed. So that's our second yellow card of the game. Let me know what you guys think. Would you have blown the whistle for offside? Or if you know he's onside, would you let play, or would you just save yourself the hassle? Let me know. So that is full time. 2-1 to Welland Reserves, and they are now through to the semi-final of the Cheltenham Primary Charity Cup, so well done to them. A strange one to review, really. Not a lot of big tackles going in. A delay in the restart, a small act of dissent, and that's really it. Obviously, these offsides continue to be an issue in grassroots football, and teams always default to the fact that the other team is cheating. However, as we saw, every single one was correct, both the offsides and the non-offsides, so happy with that. Hopefully, if you're a player who plays grassroots football, this might give you a bit of an enlightening to the idea that the club assistant might be correct and that they might not be cheating, even if it does look close to you. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this week's video. As always, if somehow you've made it this far, please don't forget to like and subscribe. It means the world. And I will see you guys next week.